What up, everybody? This is GM. This is not GM with GMI. I totally messed that up.
Yeah.
This is GMI Block Party Friday night here with myself and No Futuristic. We're here to kick off our Friday night festivities. I see No Futuristic is hanging out there in New York. He made it
Oh
safe.
yeah.
How's it going? How's your week been? And how was your journey to New York?
Hey, what's up? It's gone well so far. I mean, I've been here. I arrived yesterday around 2 p.m. The dog is still kind of like with me, but he's better than last time when I first landed. So doing that, I actually took like a 3 mile walk to go meet up Hernani in the neighborhood he lives in, to talk some Orient business, and then I walked back. So I've been trying to be healthy. I have I've just been trying to be healthy and on top of shit. So it's been good otherwise. How about you, bro?
Oh, I've been good, man. I've been taking it easy this week. I haven't done a whole lot. I've been just messing around with a lot of AI stuff. Actually, there's been a ton that's come out in the last couple of weeks with AI related technology, and so a lot of coding stuff because I find that I was an okay coder. I understood how to write basic programs, but in the last week, I've like 10x my ability to code. Like I've actually significantly become better just because I'm using AI now and like dictating like what I want it to do. And honestly, I recommend anybody that like knows even a little bit of code checks out some of these AI plugins. They're really my mind has been blown this week with that stuff. So
Is there any particular plugin that you're referring to? Like, what's one of those that you're like, you need to
yeah.
know this?
Yeah, there's this guy on Twitter. I have his tweet. But he came up with a plugin, and you download it through GitHub, and it install it on your command line or whatever, and it actually is like a co-pilot for Blender. And so people that Blender, for those of you who don't know, Blender is a 3D design software. It's open source. It's available for everyone, and I think it's free for the most part. I got the free version anyway, and you can plug in this chat gpt bot that this guy developed, and you can talk to it, and it'll actually translate what you want it to do into code into Blender. So I was using Blender with like very little knowledge of actually how to use it, and that was kind of something new for me to
Yeah,
experience.
that's awesome. Sorry, I'm just reconfiguring my audio setup real quick. Yeah, there we go. Almost there. Bam. So I can face the camera. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Blender, playing around. I've been writing a lot more because I've been thinking of proposals and stuff like that. So there's this part of me that's like, damn, I need a good transcription bot because I could work through this idea in such a just a quicker manner if I was just able to speak it instead of sitting down and writing it. So,
Oh man, we got to talk because I got like five of them for you to try in that
all
case.
right, yeah.
It's true, man. I mean, I've saved a lot of time this week, and I even found some really good tools for the DAO to adopt, things that they should adopt, AI enabled tools that'll make our just like our functioning as a DAO just like a lot better, I think. But
Yeah, that's amazing.
we'll talk about it on Sunday. I mean, I'm looking forward to the DAO meeting. I had a good call with Coder Dan the other night, and we talked about where the DAO's at and kind of what it might still need. And I think it's obvious that that we still need to host these meetings. So I mean, I'll continue hosting them if the DAO proposal to pay for the past work that's been done goes through, which it looks like it will. I'm good. I think the DAO and myself will have remedied the situation.
So wait, you'll are you gonna do it for free going forward?
No, no, no. I mean, I've committed to maybe like another extra DAO meeting. So this next DAO meeting, we're gonna basically figure out what this next proposal is gonna be for funding meetings, for funding meetings
Oh,
moving forward. And the purpose of that meeting is to make sure that we can have future meetings. And then if we can come to an agreement there, then yeah, I'm happy to keep hosting.
well, I have a funny thing because I put together the funding for bounties thing because there's been talk of that, right? And
Yeah,
hardcore wants to do a catch-all. He does everything. So I've termed that hardcore in the machine. So that,
hardcore the
yeah,
machine.
yeah, he wants to make it so it's all AI and basically we don't need anybody to run the meetings. I don't think that's going to work for many reasons, but I just love the idea of hardcore in the machine. Like it's him and his like computer trying to beat the world.
I think there can be some machine, but I totally agree with you. I think the DAO at this point in its maturity still very much needs humans. Uh, there's certain tasks though that I think the DAO, if they were automated tasks, the DAO would probably benefit. Like for example, scraping, like aggregating all of our information, like everything we discussed throughout the week, all the news, all the alpha, all of the discourse that happens in the forums, aggregating that all up and creating a concise summary every week is something I think AI might be able to help us with.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's interesting because like we have foreign in the room in the Discord right now, and shout out to foreign. But it was pointed out the idea that like you kind of need these kind of things, like just a recording of the minutes of these meetings, because now this is no longer just like a loose, a DAO without a legal structure. We actually have a legal structure, so having recorded meetings makes perfect sense. It's like for transparency to have a transcript, just very important stuff. So sometimes I feel like we lose sight of that. And even me, I was thinking about it like that to a degree, but when Foreign said it, I was like, "Holy, this is true. Like we got to think about this."
100%. Yeah, I think it's absolutely critical that meetings are recorded and actually broadcasted more so even because with the DAO, since everything is based on collective decision making, everyone needs to be informed. And that sounds easy to do, but like you and I, we know firsthand, getting the information out there is can be sometimes challenging, especially in like smaller communities where not everybody is on the same page or even paying attention at any point in time. So, yeah, there's a real challenge there in addressing that.
Well, I was thinking about this also. Just the idea of if you're thinking purely from a position of the like we're people that you can't trust, like the DAO in general, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're looking at it like trust but verify, a live stream is one of the only ways that a meeting can be shown to actually have happened the way we say it did. Anybody can record it and then doctor it later. The live stream, the number of like vectors of doctoring are much smaller. So I could change out the audio, or I mean, I've done it when people have done like crazy shit. Like I had a stream where Penske was like putting on all this stuff to Bearded, calling him like a Nazi and telling him to go F off and all this, and I had to move away from the Discord because I was like, I don't want to broadcast that and get in trouble. So like stuff like that, media
Yeah.
blackouts. But because having that live stream, it's easy to go back and verify if anything was doctored from the original.
Oh yeah, totally. And I think how many times have you gone back in time to like a previous live stream to check back if something was said the way people are claiming it was said? I know I've done it more recently, at least a couple times, gone back either to one of your segments or to actually want like the main recording to see if what was actually being claimed was actually said during the meeting. To like you said, to verify things.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually done it multiple times, so I wonder how many others have done it that are maybe a little bit more even more active. You know?
I mean, people do that with Discord. They go back and look at what the shit you say, and
Yeah,
then bring it up in arguments. So it makes sense. That information should be like there and easy to access.
I agree. I think one of the things I discussed with Coder Dan is about getting behind a centralized like a DAO media social, like a YouTube channel or whatever for Avagachi DAO, and like broadcasting all the Avagachi DAO related stuff through that YouTube channel. We can have a couple people give a couple people access through that through there's like some tools you can use. There's like Twitch or sorry, Twitter access tools. We can have multiple people accessing it without actually giving out the password. So we can have it set up like that and have 3 or 4 content creators creating DAO specific content including all these meetings and stuff, could all be published through the Avagachi DAO channel, and that would be the one metric if somebody was interested in looking at. They could look at that. In addition to that, I think Pixelcraft would be open to sharing Avagachi DAO official content if we were to package it like that. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's necessary because it just makes it easier to observe everything, keep it all in one stop shop.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was talking with this about with Ernani about Orium, like just the idea of getting it so that basically any streams we do are going to Orium's Twitter, but we're also trying to aggregate people in the Discord versus just having them on YouTube, on Twitch, on like 10 different platforms. And then it's harder to like kind of quantify the actual viewership.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's on one spot. People can see it. I think that might be the way forward. So we'll discuss things like that on Sunday as well.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, these things have to happen. So it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, fuck it, we just won't do it. It's like, nope. It's like I saw Mikey J put up, I think, a forum post about proposals for like a treasury dashboard, creating a treasury dashboard, and it's in the similar vein as I guess Mia La La La's proposal, but that got shot down, right? So it doesn't mean that we just don't need it. It means that we have to, try to reconfigure it, and get back in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to share something here. So I'm going to get into some of the conversation here for tonight. And I'm going to throw this up real quick. This is a article I found on the Defiant Maker DAO. This affects us. This kind of affects us directly. And I kind of just want to make sure we're riding on the coattails of this conversation because it is something we've been paying close attention to. And yeah, so basically what's happened here is MakerDAO has ratified their constitution, aiming to decentralize DAI. And the way that they're planning to go about doing this is they basically passed a governance proposal to their constitution that will make this like Maker DAI, the DeFi protocol issuer of the DAI stablecoin, more resilient against censorship. That's what they say because they're moving away from, I think, USDC, and they're moving away. They're moving away from real world assets, basically. So their proposal is basically to decentralize DAI governance, and the way they're going to do that is they're going to, I think they're going to reconfigure all of their investments, but basically moving away from USDC, moving away from real world assets mainly. But it was a little constitutional. It was a little not constitutional. It was a little controversial because it was kind of a low voter turnout. It's kind of funny because that's exactly what happened with the media proposal. It was a low voter turnout, and there was an alleged large token holder that was the MakerDAO co-founder who had voted in favor of the endgame plan, which is the shift. And so basically MakerDAO, or the DAI token, is going to be like this group of sub DAOs. So they want to reorganize MakerDAO into a bunch of different sub DAOs with distinct governance jurisdictions of their own native tokens. So I guess their proposal here is in fractionalizing the main DAO and like diversifying everything out and diversifying the management of DAI, that they think that they'll be able to somehow maintain the current value of DAI. That's what they've voted in favor of. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to DAI. I don't know if it's going to become like a ghost token, or if it's going to become like, or if it's going to stay a stable coin like it's always been. But yeah, it's questionable in my mind.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because I get the idea of decentralization, like further decentralizing means that it can't be called a security. It does kind of protect a little bit in terms of blacklisting, but I mean, Circle can still just blacklist them just to blacklist them, right? Just because, like if they're getting pressured by the U.S. government, I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I think I'm not really sure in what way they're planning to decentralize their, decentralize their DAI collateral, but I'd imagine it's going to be tied up in a whole bunch of like crypto assets. But like, wouldn't that make it a more volatile token? Is my question.
Well, I think that would be one thing, but I mean, I know that going through collateral that's real world, I mean, there are problems with that, but it also lends itself to like some stability, like treasury bills. Um, as long as you're not over leveraging, you're not using people's money to do
Mhm.
crazy shit, you should be fine. But I guess I see like, because there's probably like issues if you have a bank holding US dollars, right? Like, where is that bank and what are the
Yeah.
tax implications?
And that's what they're going to do. So ironically, they're going to expect. I think in a way they're going to expect. They're going to expose themselves to more traditional finance now because they're going to be expanding into the money market. They're going to be expanding their investments into the money market, short term at least.
Ugh.
Uh, so that's like I'm not sure how that's going to affect their token, especially with regulation, and a stable coin basically farming T bills or farming, like farming tradition tradfi stuff to hold up the value of their USD stablecoin. I don't know how regulatory bodies are going to respond to it.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be good. Like, it just seems, it seems like something that's going to lead to trouble potentially. But I guess, like, what other option do they have at this point? They're probably, at risk of taking some heat. Like, either way they go, like, people don't trust that they're not going to be blacklisted eventually.
Yeah.
And we all felt that the world shake for a minute with that DPEG. And I've been thinking about OUSD, Origin, and kind of what happened with
Mhm.
their coins. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't inspire confidence.
No, not at all. I mean, though, here's the thing, though. This my conversation. I guess it leads to this question here. The the Avagachi DAO treasury currently is denominated in DAI, isn't it? Most of it, because
Yeah.
we just turned off the curve, so we unlocked all this DAI. And so, as a DAO, do we now have to decide, like, if we're going to move away from DAI? Because I guess that's still the final move that would have to happen, right? Is for us to move completely away from DAI, either to like USDC or like some other mix of things.
Yeah, I mean, we there have been swaps for USDC, but those were mostly for buybacks, I believe. Um, so or reacquisition of Ghost, not a buyback. So there is, you definitely would need to make a decision. I'm sure also Pixelcraft is going to have to make a decision because they're holding DAI. I don't know if they swapped it
Oh yeah.
already, but they were talking about swapping it during that DPEG, but they had to wait just like everybody else.
See, I would hate for that to happen unknowingly again, and it's like, oh damn, we had the curve off, we had the DAI, we had all the funds, we I wouldn't want that to happen. I think we should definitely bring that up at one of the next DAO meetings and just be like, yo, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with all this coin because I would hate for something to happen to it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, personally, I'm not going to be attending that many DAO meetings anymore. I'll probably like this weekend. I'll probably attend. I'm definitely not going to stream or do anything for it.
Yeah.
And then going forward, since it's so easy to make a concise text write up of it, apparently, I'll just wait for that and read that.
Yeah, and I mean, I found some AI stuff that's like you literally just plug in this thing in your browser, and while you're doing the meeting, they'll write up a summary, and then you just publish that. I don't know how good it's gonna be compared to like a person writing it, but I mean that could be an easy way. Just to They could take me 2 seconds to do that.
Yeah, and if that happens, then it does make it easier versus even going back. Although it depends on the type of learner you are. I kind of brought this
Yeah,
up in one of the conversations. Visual learners are different than auditory learners, are different than kinesthetic learners. So you
exactly.
have to be able to kind of cater to everybody.
Exactly. And that was the whole point of what we were trying to do there. The podcast had their place. The clips that you published were really helpful, especially like making reference to specific things. And then the live streams were also really helpful as well. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's something for everybody there, and in catering to one audience, you tend to lose another audience. I think if you do it that way.
Well, I mean, oh man, I experienced this today, right? I responded to Nick Mudge because after posing the core prop and the core prop for the budget revision for Eve Denver, it's been live for 2 or 3 days now. He just jumped in and tagged the fact that we asked for crafting expenses for the marijuana mansion, and he's like, "I think we should be keeping this a family friendly thing." And it's like, bro, this was sponsored by Avagachi. Like, I know you're like a superhero here, but you have to. It's also on you to do some due diligence and read these or watch something. Like it's literally halfway through the core prop, and people are asking for questions now. It's like, oh god, what is happening?
At that point, it's on them. I
Yeah,
think,
I'm.
yeah, it's on them. I mean, it's like it's the same thing with governance. If you don't know your local elections happening, too bad. Like nobody's gonna, nobody's gonna go back and explain to you who is running. It's like it's done. Like the decision's been made. Of course, there's always a opportunity. There's always an opportunity to ratify little details, but I don't know, man. I would say for someone like Nick Mudge, just like make sure you watch the live streams or the clips
Yeah.
if there are any. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. Uh, DAO governance is just it can be messy sometimes, but
It's
come up.
definitely an interesting process for sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a. Go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a social experiment, for sure.
Hey, GM Trina. Yeah. So die might die. This is
Die might
the
die.
update. March 31st, 2023 update. Die might die. We'll see if they're, tomorrow's April Fool's Day, so I wonder if what's going to happen with our hangout tomorrow, because there's supposed to be a
Oh,
big announcement, but is it a joke? I can't tell.
yeah. I don't know, man. My radars, my April Fool's radars is on. It's
Okay, that's good.
it's going off. So we'll see. Who was it? Someone was saying, I think a Zombie Shepherd this morning was saying Bankless DAO last year said they were partnering up with Wells Fargo uh last year for April Fools, and people were like losing it because they were like, Bankless DAO's partnering with a bank. Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, last year I posted a image of Ghost being listed to Coinbase on April Fools, and it caught a lot of people, even though it wasn't true at that time.
Well, I mean, it did manifest later on, though.
Yeah. And that was all Webb. Webb hit me up and he's like, "Hey, can you add a ghost logo to this like Coinbase announcement for a different coin?" And I was like, yeah, I can. Let's do it." So what is this that you're showing on screen?
This is Inverse. We were talking to them. Well, actually, I think you were on the move. You were traveling when we were talking about it, but this was during the Wednesday space. We had them hanging out with us with Golden Cross, and we were talking about immersive experiences and how these guys had created a crazy Gotchiverse experience at Polycon. We didn't get to try it out very much because we were at Denver. We were grinding, but they had this going on simultaneously, and so these guys build exactly what, like how it sounds like, virtual uh, immersive experiences for people to hang out and like have your company meetings or whatever what have you.
Okay, this is interesting. So have you actually gone in and tested any of these immersive experiences?
I did try out the Polycon experience, the Avagachi themed one, and it was fun. I mean, they had little Avagachi costumes for you, and there was like a Alchemica fishing pool. They had like a little bit of a Citadel remake going on there. It was cool. They did a really good job, actually. But the news here is Inverse is going to be building on Gotchi chain. So Inverse is going to be building out their own experience, Avagotchi experience.
Ah, yeah, I'd be
So
interested to
yeah,
see what that's like.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they build because just seeing the way that they were able to design Avagotchi themed work already, these guys get it. Like they understand like the synth wave, like 80s 90s vibe. They get it. So
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It looks cool. I do like it. There's so many like you see other people have these like 3D metaverse experiences, and we do lack that in Avagotchi. So being able to see an integration on Gotchi chain, like we've said before, the idea that like Avagotchi is like the internet's like gaming console, right? The blockchain gaming console. So this is the start of that by having other experiences built on that chain as well.
yeah, exactly, and have multiple different like metaverses you can go to besides the Gotchiverse. You know, the Gotchiverse is like the home of the Avagotchi. It's the original. But they're being on chain, you can kind of wander a bit. You know, uh, did you see the wearables, Zbot's wearables, the 3D early production stuff? That
Yeah, I actually mentioned that to Ernani today because I was like, it seems like they're moving along a little quicker than any of us would have thought towards the Unity game. Like you saw the Liquidators, right? That they released an image of Liquidators that were like kind of voxy style.
yeah, I saw those. Yeah, they looked like more primitive versions of liquidators. They had 4 legs instead of 6. But
Yeah, see, I wondered if that was Gotchi Guardian related or if that was um, what's it called related to
maybe
uh,
that's the big news. Maybe we're gonna be fighting some liquidators off tomorrow.
well, are we fighting them off in Gotchi Guardians or inside of the Gotchiverse? Because we are getting warnings, right? There's been some warnings of something's happening, and they said something would happen this week, so it could be a liquidator invasion of that sort, like
Hmm.
maybe a liquidator similar to the Torquay chase, that kind of thing.
Oh, you know what? It could be. It could be a Gotchi Guardians Liquidator invasion into the Gotchiverse. So we'd probably see those 3D liquidators maybe showing up
Yeah, see, that would be
from
interesting.
Gotchi Guardians.
Yeah, but see, I hope it's if it's something like that, I would want them to do more announcements for that so that we have a full house like versus
Yeah.
like what was it, there was a Monday where they opened up a turkey or a pumpkin. No, I think it was a turkey, and like there was a dedicated group of us. I remember because Zombie Shepherd was streaming also, but most people in the Discord had no idea that there was a PVE thing happening that night, and it was just a dedicated group of like, I mean, I actually opened up the amphitheater and like streamed for a bit, but it was a dedicated group of like maybe 10 to 15 of us watching. Like, so I'm sure if they had announced that well in advance, those numbers would have been far greater.
Oh yeah,
Like,
totally.
we'll get 100 people in the Discord tomorrow when we could be getting like maybe 300 or 400.
That is true, and we could push a little harder for that. And maybe that's where some of these community ambassador slash marketing bounties could come in. You know, maybe this is where some of that stuff could be really useful to have that sort of content being pushed out before. But you know, the other thing is we should have like some sort of an insider group where we can actually get some lead time on this. Like I would love to get some lead time on this event, even if it's a couple days, so we can actually set up like some sort of a promotional either live stream or some sort of a podcast thing. You know, I think there's opportunities for that.
Yeah, that's always been lacking. Like with no big events like land auction or rarity farming. It
Yeah.
was good to have a rarity farming party this week
Hmm.
for the first time this season. We haven't had one at all, I think, this season.
You gotta have at least one. So how'd you do? How'd you do with your rarity farming? I got a decent amount of ghost actually, more than I thought I was gonna get this year.
I think I might have per round. I probably got like 240 to 260 ghosts per round, so over 1,000 ghosts for the whole season. But
Nice, nice.
yeah, less than what what I normally get, but still not bad.
Yeah, I got about 550 ghosts this time around, so that was pretty good.
For the full season or the one round?
No, full season.
Ah, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it's a nice little stimmy. I was actually starting a conversation in the Bazaar chat about like it's like I was joking. I was like, it's been 12 hours. It's been less than 24 hours since the last rarity farming season ended. So we should probably make a proposal for season 6. But I was like, instead of it being one, like 8 rounds every 2 weeks, I'm surprised no one has come up with a proposal for a 1 year rarity farming. Like the entire year, you if we're going to do 3 seasons in 1 year and allocate, say, $4 million to that, then why can't we just dedicate it for the full year and do stimmy checks every 2 weeks? Just they're going to be smaller. But if you do that, you can then take loans against your Abagachis and pawn and have the stimmy pay back the loan.
This could be an interesting mechanic. And then also, if you add another layer to it, and we have the opt-in. Remember, we were talking about the opt-in standard, and so you'd have to just make sure that you get to have a little bit of active management, where just before every 3 months or something, you do like a check-in. There's like a little, just so that there's a way to know that you're actually interacting with these things, because that was the whole point of rarity farming. I think that we'd have to address if we were to do it one every year. I think.
I don't know. I don't like an opt-in. These are passive. Like I was telling Hernani this
Hmm.
today. I'm like, the whole point of the game is it's DeFi farming. Like, so you bought this to earn passively over time. If you dressed up your Gotchi really well, but you're not really paying attention to the game, I don't think you should be penalized. I understand why people think active engagement should be rewarded, but then why is XP paid so little compared to the other two? Like,
Hmm.
if you're gonna say it in that one vein, you might as well apply it to all the other
For
veins.
XP, and yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
across the board, I think all of those are, I think, underutilized. I wish there's a little bit more gamification. Maybe not in rarity farming per se, but at least in XP. Like, I'd love to see ways you can gain XP, but also ways you can lose. Like, I don't think there's enough ways to lose things, because I think that's also what makes gaming fun. Maybe that's where some of the skill comes in. I don't
yep,
know, but maybe I do see your perspective of it being a passive asset also. So it
yeah,
depends on really who's looking at it. If it's like more of an investor, I would say probably the passive, asset. Like, it makes sense for borrowing and lending and all that stuff.
yeah.
Uh, but
I
yeah.
mean, it's also. I mean, that's why these are great conversations to have because even right now, the SIG prop went live to the -2 kinship burn when you
Yeah.
channel. So I was surprised that that went live so quick, and I'm on the task force, so it's like holy crap. But with
Did
that
that go?
going,
Is that a new proposal that just went
it's
up?
up, it's up for vote. Yeah.
Oh shit, dude! I didn't. I was just on Snapchat, so it just must have gone up not that long ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
with this vote, if it passes, every time you channel, your Gotchi is -2. So basically, your kinship score would just stay steady. If you pet twice a day and you channel once, it's basically your kinship score goes up 0. So it's going to force. It really only affects bigger players because they have to choose: do I give up my kinship spot or do I get my channeling? So for me, I could keep channeling. I'm not competitive in kinship, so it doesn't really matter.
I like this because I have a couple gotchis that are really ranked in kinship, and I have some that are ranked really low in kinship. That would just be my farmers. Keep them at around between 200 and 300, and I'll just rotate through them. But I'm a very small scale. I have a very small scale farm, so for me, it's like whatever. But I could see, like you said, larger players being affected. I'm definitely going to stop if this passes. I'm going to stop channeling my two or three highest kinship gotchis and just keep them going, because I think for those, probably best to leave them. Keep them on the path.
Well, my worry is this is going to wreck the rental market because no one's going to want to rent their high kinship gotchis, which are the most. Those are the ones that get you paid. Like no one's
It-
going to want to rent like if you're looking at Adventure IO and it's like a 400 kinship gotchi, it's not going to make you any money, so no one's going to rent that thing.
You called this out a couple days ago, a week ago. You talked about how the channeling was about to get nerfed maybe a little bit more. Like you could see it getting nerfed a little bit more. And so this does definitely put a nerf on channeling now. It makes it less appealing overall, as opposed to like farming that doesn't affect your kinship at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it becoming just in time. Like, there's a proposal, like a forum post about Alchemica spending competitions and how that's going to be mostly, who's going to invest in altars if you can't get anything from channeling. You can build up your farm, but if you haven't built up your altar already, it's kind of like that's a double cost almost, and you're not getting anything back from the altar. So it will affect the economy in a big way.
I could still, yeah, I think it would affect the economy in a big way. I'll say that up front, but I could also see increased spending now if there's going to be spending competition. I could see there being significantly more spending on farming stuff.
Yeah, but
Especially if altars are leveled up already.
yeah, so it affects one type of player, and with
Yeah,
the farming, we are causing greater emittance. Even though if it's like there have been a lot of talks about this, the emissions don't catch up to the spend, the burn for months, but it does eventually catch up. So what I've suggested, but it's Coder Dan says it's possible, but I'm like we should have a mosaic tile competition during the middle of this, or a new decoration because you spend Alchemica to get that, but it's a non-yield generating asset. But some people are saying they don't want to see the leaderboard affected by that, because I was like, yo, add a deco,
yeah,
decoration, add a multiplier for the decoration, because then it
yes.
pushes people to, if they're trying to game the meta, then is make as many decorations as possible. The problem is you don't get a yield from those. So people who don't want to invest money unless they're getting yield, farmers, are not going to go for it. So I don't think that will be implemented, but we might see a decoration released in the middle of the competition potentially. We'll have to see.
Well, if the multiplier is interesting enough, what you could do is have the right ratio of spending on your farming equipment versus spending on the multiplier, and you could actually make that work. Like I think I could see that happening. Somebody spending a bunch on their farming equipment, getting a yield from the farming equipment, rolling that yield back into buying more of the decorations or whatever, and creating a higher multiplier. I could see there being some sort of I think it just increased like the level of strategy that people would use. So,
Yeah, we'll have to see it play out.
and I did say, having decorations involved, having multipliers on tiles and decorations, I always thought that was a good idea. So, I hope they do implement it. I hope we can keep these like, I don't think we've done a really good job with rarity farming, like iterating on it. Like we made a couple changes after the first one, and then, since the third one, we haven't really made too many major changes. I
We
think the
haven't made
last.
changes. Well, the second one was the one that had all the changes that we reverted.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was changes that were reverted, and then this last time around, the Forge. The Forge was the latest kind of release, rarity farming related release in a way. Uh, so I don't know like how much more change people are willing to implement into rarity farming. But I would like to see more change with the Alchemica spending competition, because it's like the first competition was like boring. Like it wasn't even like, I don't know. In my opinion, it wasn't even like content like worthy. Like you can really even make a content out of it. You could, I guess, maybe, but
You can build a farm.
yeah, I guess you could. But like, I mean, there was no like gamification at all. It was very just like mathematical. It was just like, it was linear. Like it was totally linear. You just knew exactly what you were gonna get with what you spent. I would like to see some more randomness. Like that's what kind of makes games kind of fun. Maybe there's like a VRF element. Like maybe there's like a thing, you gotta burn like a thing, like a decoration or something, and then you do a VRF roll, and then that gives you some sort of a multiplier. Like I'd like to see some, um, just some more complexity.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm happy I started building out my FOMO farm right before all this, because, hopefully that pump hits like last time. And it's like, oh, yeah, now I'm making like Now this thing's making me $12 a day or something. Some decent looking number.
Yeah, the FOMO play still looks pretty good at this point. I think Alpha, in my opinion, not investment advice or anything. I think Alpha is still undervalued. Keck is probably more of a late game resource, but maybe Alpha might still be more useful in the near term. And then you got FUD and I can't remember the other one. Uh,
Well, you said Keck, FOMO,
yeah,
Alpha.
yeah. There you go. Yeah,
Well, it's
hit them
interesting
all.
also because they did do like Mark in Material showed some numbers, data that from the first spending competition, and like circulating supplies of all of the Alchemica, the only one that really grew significantly was FUD. FOMO grew, but not that much. Like Keck grew, but like not like a tiny amount compared to the other ones. And people were saying that like the effect that like on Keck that the spending competition had was like immense. Like it just did. I forget the exact wording of it, but it was just saying that it had like it really supported price better than all the other Alchemicas.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah, I think Keck is still over 1 cent at this point, which some people will argue is still too high, but who knows?
Yeah, I remember the early days when Keck was like 50 cents.
$1.80 on the first day,
A
$2.
dollar 80. Crossing over Ghost on the first day. Yeah, that was
I
something.
miss I miss 10 cent Keck because then I was making $200-300 a day in channeling, and that was like I didn't have nearly as many clients as I have now.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah. Now we're approaching a year, and I'm about to give up on channeling. I just can't do it anymore.
Hey man, it was a good run while it lasted, I'm sure.
Yeah, I proved I'm consistent. I can give away my free time for next to nothing.
On to bigger things, man. That's all I
Yeah,
say.
yeah, that's always the plan.
Uh okay, I got one more thing here to share. This is an interesting tweet from this week. This is oh, that's Song of Day Man. Sorry, that's not the one.
I was like, I know that guy.
He makes good stuff. This one right here, Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army. I don't know. Have you seen this week? This
I
like
haven't, but
whole It's like this whole movement towards like anti-crypto, and so Elizabeth Warren is, I guess she's trying to create a anti-crypto army. So this is like a this has been a whole conversation this week. It's been kind of a meme for a while, but Song of Day Man created this little tune to reflect on this moment. See if I can get it to work.
put the video full screen. Now you got this crypto army. If I post my songs to Spotify, I enrich dang left. If I post my songs to YouTube, it all goes to Alphabet. If I try to use Patreon, those VCs will benefit. And Bandcamp is union busting. No, I don't like that one bit. Oh, so tell me, what should I do? That's the question I have for you, Elizabeth. 'Cause every day I write my song, turn it into an NFT. Somebody out there decides to buy it directly from me. No stupid billionaire and no dumb VC. No
large corporation knows it's just my fan and me. And you're so smug and sure that anti-crypto just makes sense. But you're helping to entrench the power of the people that you supposedly against. Oh, so what am I supposed to do? That's the question that I have for you. It's just my livelihood I'm trying to pursue. If you wanna tear it down, ba boo boo boo, Elizabeth.
Yeah, you get it, but
Damn.
that sums up this whole argument here. This crypto army BS. What we talked about this a lot last week, but what do you think about all this? Do you think there needs to be a pro crypto army now that shows up that needs to go up against this, or this? Do you think these are the last? This is like the last stand for this like old nation state that's like collapsing. That's now just like angry, just like lashing out.
Well, people have been lashing out at crypto for over a decade, right? I think it's going to
Yeah,
continue. It's also the louder they get, the more like obvious, it is that this is part of the solution. This technology enables, a level of control that returns to a individual versus, in terms of money at least, that can't be said for fiat systems. But you know, I don't know. I'm from a red state. Tennessee is pretty
yeah.
red. Nashville's like a little blue dot in a red sea. And like no one gives a shit about crypto. Like it's so different here. If I have conversations, people are like, "Oh, that's interesting." There, it's like, "Oh, it sounds like a scam." So like it's like
Oh
they're
yeah,
they already believe that. Like there's literally my girlfriend's one of her best friends. Like the whole qualification on whether or not to date me was that I was an NFT guy. So like multiple people, I've experienced
yeah,
that multiple times. I think they're just jealous because they see that I can do things that they can't. But there is like she is speaking to an audience that exists. If we're looking at it as a spectrum, there are definitely people on one side of the spectrum that are like, "Fuck crypto, it's a scam," and then the rest that believe it's the saving grace of everything. And then those people in the middle that are like, this is not bad. It's not everything, but it's something different. So there's
yeah,
always going to be a need, I think, for people to stand up, but there's always going to be hate. So there's not much you can do about that. Question is, will laws change?
yeah. Well, and I think they're trying to change laws because here's the thing: like the Fed now system will be implemented sometime in July. And, that's when like not everything, but certain things are going to come under Fed coin and will be dealt with in Fed coin. The smear campaign, there's never been like a smear campaign against like a government issue shitcoin, but there have been many against crypto for, like you said, the last
Well,
whatever.
I wouldn't agree with that, man. Our government, like, you know how many black ops like things have probably happened in South America to wreck economies and
Oh yeah,
currencies?
okay,
Hell
yeah,
no. It's human nature. That's what I'm saying. It's like anytime there's a competitor, like, especially anybody that feels threatened by it might step up and do some shady shit.
yeah.
And I argue that the US has probably allegedly done some shit to some other country's currency multiple times over the course of the last 200 years.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I think what I'm speaking to is maybe more just the U.S. dollar specifically. There hasn't been like a global movement towards like labeling it as a shit coin, but we're starting to see that a little bit. France just recently paid for, I think it was a natural gas deal in yuan. It was the first ever denominated like natural gas deal with. It wasn't even with China. I think it was with Saudi Arabia, and it was denominated in a non-US currency. To me, that's a big deal because France isn't even part of BRICS. So to see a country like France doing its dealings in a foreign currency, kind of in a way is kind of a smear campaign in a way against the dollar. And I think there'll be many more like this where you have other currencies now being used in place of a dollar to do trade, to do world trade. um and so that's external, but then internally you have people that believe in crypto who are also going to start their own smear campaigns against this, like these Fed coins and all these like centralized CBDC systems. People are going to start asking questions about it. Why is my bank account being, managed this way? Why is my, they'll start asking questions because these systems will start getting implemented. And I think at that point, people will start to realize that there's actually a choice to make here. And they're kind of unaware that there was ever a choice here in the first place.
Yeah, I could see people just being like siding with I mean, other than the fact that Elizabeth Warren is like a known Karen, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She, like people will align behind that. I think it's a tough one. We're watching it happen, and anytime a threat is happening, like if you think of yuan, right? People are using that now because that creates a new debt system essentially, and like what we were talking about this great reset last week, and the idea that like our current debt system is, especially for me, like and people like me, U.S. denominated, U.S. dollar denominated, and the worldwide debt, and like there's a lot of it's just there's a lot of bills owed to each other in the reserve currency. If we move away from this reserve currency, and everybody says, fuck that debit, like fuck that ledger, essentially, we're moving to this new ledger. We start over. You said it similarly to last week, like, oh, if you offer poor people like this Fed now money and you erase their debt, a lot of them would take it, right?
Yeah, totally.
But it's just this is the same shit, but with the adults in the room doing it to each other.
No, that's a good point, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but like you said, it's going to be tough to see kind of what happens and who sides with what, and what gets further revealed by the current unraveling of the financial system. What we're seeing here on the inside, here on the inside, as I'm Canadian, but as Americans, basically, because we're all tied to the same thing here. But seeing what happens on the inside will be interesting.
This is similar to our bonding curve being in Die and watch Die depegging. It's like, oh, fuck. It's like the one thing I believe in and it's going down. Are you serious? It's the same exact thing. It's like, all right, come on, hold it together. These things usually take a little while. Give me like another 40, 50 years. I'll be out of here. Come on,
please. Yeah. just huddle. Just keep going just for a little bit. Oh, totally, man. That's so true.
Yeah. But that's why I don't I don't have a lot of assets that are denominated in US dollars. If I have to sell my NFTs for yuan, I'll do it. Like if that's what you want to take some gotchis and pay me in yuan. That's the new ledger. Let's do it.
Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, I'll say one thing. If de-dollarization and it crashes and all that, I'll be in a better place because I actually owe them money. So those dollars will be worthless too. So it's all good,
Yeah.
That's not something I'm too worried about, but it's a good conversation nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing what we're seeing kind of happen because it's I can't think like during Bretton Woods, was there like outrage? Was there this party like the gold miners are like, what the fuck? We're moving, we're changing things again. I don't know if there was that kind of opposition, or at least as publicly, because the world is a lot different now. In terms of how information is disseminated.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing we're dealing with firsthand in the DAO right now is information gets disseminated so quickly that people actually have time to react. But if the media sources aren't accurate or the media sources aren't reporting on things at all, things do get lost in translation. And that's why we're seeing a lot of chaos right now, too.
Yeah, very easy to descend people into chaos. I mean, giving information can also fuck people up, too. But taking it away completely. So what's this that you're looking at? This is something different now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Lens. Yeah.
This is a Lens post I put out there. I want people to collect this. It's a free collect. You just got to be following me. But this is a little side series I'm going to be doing with Natasha called the Gotchi Gardener. And it's basically going to be just a documentation of our whole plant growing, like vegetable growing season.
Okay, is this your I'm guessing this is your backyard?
Yeah,
the space that you're allocating?
Yeah, so this is one of the grow containers that we're using. This is like a 110-liter container. So you can grow like a decent amount of stuff in here. This is what we were using last year, but this year we got 5 of these. and then we got four of these that are similar to this, but they're like double sized. They're double stacked or whatever. So we got a whole bunch of these like above ground grow containers, and so we're gonna be growing all kinds of vegetables this year.
Okay, nice. Which vegetable are you going to start with?
Well, we're growing like 20 different vegetables.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
So we're
Yeah.
doing just like to list off a couple like broccoli, carrots, lettuce, tomatoes, squash, watermelon. Uh, I can't remember all of them right now. Just a bunch of different lettuces. I think cabbage, like growing some cabbage. There's a whole list. There's Natasha's made a whole list of these things, and we actually did like I did a course a couple weeks ago. It was like a 6-hour course on just like small scale agriculture and how to use like just sustainable methods and how to create small scale farms. So my whole thing with this is to basically educate people on how to be not only like financially sovereign people, but also food sovereign people, and be able to grow their own food in really small spaces. So, like last year, I'll give you guys an example. Last year, I lived in a 500 square foot apartment, and in the backyard, on the balcony there, it's a very small balcony. I had two of these planter boxes. Now, out of these two planter boxes, we got two harvests throughout the season, and I don't remember buying a single tomato. I didn't buy a single head of lettuce. I didn't buy like any herbs. Like all of it was from my garden. I just went out there, I picked it. It was like literally took me 2 minutes. It's organic, all that stuff. I didn't pay for it. And it was like probably the best investment I've ever made. And it wasn't actually as much time as people think. So yeah, just trying to get people into it, man. I think it's everybody should be doing a little bit of it. It's very passive. It's like passive food income.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've in the apartment I'm sitting in. You just reminded me, like this dog owner. They used to because they have a lot of windows here. It's a corner apartment, like in the West Village. They had on the sills like all these small scale, not vegetables, but like herbs. They were trying to
Nice.
grow stuff in here. They did it for a while, and then I don't know if they just quit or I think they went through a divorce at that time, so it kind of fell to the wayside. But they had it, and it was nice. But like thinking of it here in New York City, the challenges of doing something like that. But it's still possible. That's the crazy part.
Oh man, it's possible anywhere. Like you said, people do get creative, and there's like a whole video series this guy does on like he helps people set up their like grow setups in New York. Like that's his thing. He literally does what
Oh
you just
damn.
said. He goes around trying to find like ways people can grow things in their apartment or on their balcony and that sort of thing. So anyway, this is a post, and so this is entry one of my season one lens collects for Gotchi Gardener. So it's a free collect. If you're following me, you can go and collect it on Lens. And yeah, I'm gonna be putting one of these out every week. It's just each one's like gonna be a little bit educational and just giving people a little summary of what I'm working on that week, and you'll get to track the progress of the plants. So once the season's done, you'll have like 20 or 30 of these NFTs each week with like the progress of the plants, and you'll have the whole thing at the end.
Nice. That's awesome. You'll see now I'm in the Gotchiverse starting to do my own farming. But the little sticker there, what is that? Is that like a lens associated thing?
Yeah, let's see if I can open it.
It looks like one of the lens stickers from Eve Denver, but I haven't. They're all in my bag still. I have so many. I got the Gotchi Goodie stickers, like everything.
Yeah, it's not loading here, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the lens sticker that we got from the lens booth at Eat Denver. That's their like plant logo.
Lenny.
Lenny. So Lenny and the Gotchi Gardener are gonna be they're gonna be they're gonna be doing this series. It's gonna be cool.
Do you have like a timeline of how long the series will run?
As long as the plants are alive.
Okay, that's a fair.
If the plants go early, the series will prematurely end. But I'm hoping I can make it through the season to a really bountiful harvest, and be able to, yeah.
Does Hefe make it to season 2? Stay tuned.
I'll tokenize the watermelon at the end. We can all have a piece of it.
Yeah, that's fun. How long is the season, or are these vegetables able to go like all year round?
So that's the thing. This course that I'm taking right now, it actually teaches you on the Southwest coast how to grow all year round. So I'll hopefully be doing this all year round, but season one will probably go till about fall. So like
Ah,
September. And then you can cut everything loose and then you can start a new rotation because where I live there's no snow. We don't get snow out here. So
oh, so
about
you have more opportunity to like grow.
yeah, it's just like very wet. It gets rainy. It just rains a lot in the wintertime.
Interesting. Yeah, my girlfriend was telling me that in Nashville right now, it's like really windy. Where in New York, it's just kind of it's like in the 50s, but kind of chilly.
Okay.
But here, like it'll be all over the place. Like today, there was a point where I was walking where it was too warm for my jacket, so I took my jacket off, and then I get into the side, with the shade, and now it's freezing cold again, so I have to put the jacket on. But you walk a little bit, and then you get too hot, so you take the jacket off, and then I go
Oh
to my
man.
meeting, and I come out 2 hours later, and now it's in the mid 50s and way too warm for the jacket. It's like, what the hell is happening?
Oh man, layers are definitely your best friend there in those climates.
The thing is you don't drive, so like I have a book bag, and since I left, they I guess enacted a law where you can't use plastic bag, you can't give out plastic bags at stores.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
got
like
that too.
yeah, it's a staple of my lifestyle, like constantly collecting plastic bags. So I like it threw me off when I first got here because I went to the supermarket and bought all this like fresh food so I can like kind of eat healthier while I'm here. And I had to carry it back in a paper bag, and that's a mess. It's like I bought a reusable bag to carry around, but now you just don't have space to carry a whole extra set of clothing while also carrying a bag and all the other shit you need.
It adds up, man. Especially when you're on a bike like that too. You got limited real estate with what you can do there. Do you have one of those? Do you have one of those carriers at the back? I see a lot of people that ride around here have a carrier right behind their seat, and then they'll put
I,
all their crap on that.
I have a bag that goes on the back of my bike. But I'm talking about in New York. I don't have a bike, so I wouldn't using the bike. They would steal it right off the bike if you left it.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yes,
for
there has to be
sure.
a bag that you remove. But yeah, if you're just moving around like in the city, it's like a book bag. Like I can carry a jacket, but it has to be a really light jacket because if it gets too hot, it's just going to be a pain in the ass to carry all day. It's like
Yeah,
if it's good, if it's supposed to rain, you don't know if it's going to rain. You should carry an umbrella, but that means you have an umbrella like tied to you for the whole fucking day. So if it doesn't rain, or you have one of those big umbrellas, it's just a pain in the ass.
yeah. You gotta carry it around, and then chances are because you got that with you, it's probably not gonna rain, and you're just gonna end up carrying it around
Yeah,
everywhere.
I usually roll with a poncho just to keep it uh, easy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I got something special here. I want to share here with you.
Yeah,
This is something I've been expecting all week, and it finally showed up right before this call, and I was going to open it myself.
take it full screen.
Well, I'm gonna. Okay, yeah. Let me put my camera up there. There we
There you
go.
go.
So let's save this down. I got this package here. And it's some audio equipment that I've been expecting, and I'm gonna open it right now.
Yeah. Describe it for us for the audio files in the group.
So I basically got a sampler. It's a drum machine and sampler, and then the other one's kind of a drum machine and an FM synthesizer. And so that's gonna help me level up my audio game, hopefully. And my goal is actually to join Zombie Shepherd on his music hour and actually have something to contribute here because up until now I've been using just a MIDI keyboard and messing around with it, and now it's kind of time to get serious and try and do something a little bit more uh musically involved. And so this is the goal here with this.
That's amazing. With the MIDI keyboard, like, is your setup so that you can stream and play it?
It's right here, dude. I have it
Yo,
right
can
here.
we hear something?
It's not hooked up to anything, but I just have it right here. It's a little mini MIDI. You see that?
Wait, let me move. Yeah, there you go. I've had one of those. Is it M Audio?
Yeah, it's an M Audio.
Yeah, those things are great.
Yep.
Yeah, what are you using to? What audio program are you using?
Ableton. It's Ableton Light.
Nice.
Ableton Light, the light version of it. So
Yeah, because I used to carry one of those with like my laptop because I have Logic Pro. But I use the keyboard. I mean, like nowadays I'm just using samples. I don't like have the
yeah,
energy to carry a keyboard around.
yeah, true.
But that's awesome.
And the whole idea, I mean, you nailed it right there, though. The whole idea of getting the sample-based drum machine as opposed to something different is to actually so I can play around with samples because I find samples are the best way, in my opinion, as a beginner to start creating and still like make something of your own. You know, you can take a sample and make it completely different, make it your own, but it's a good place to start. So
Yeah, as long if you're getting pieces that work well together, it makes it much easier to like jump in and just kind of improvise. Where
yeah,
if you're actually
exactly.
like trying to program music theory in and you don't know it, it's going to be more of a challenge.
Exactly. So I felt the sample machine was a good place to start.
So is that what you got as well? I know you said the like you have the M Audio, which is a controller, a keyboard controller. What was the other thing? A drum machine?
Yeah, it's a sampler and a drum machine, and then the other
Ah,
one's a pure FM based. It's an FM synthesizer, so it can make really cool like arcade retro type sounds.
yeah. I used to sit in this house in between dog walks making music, like way back in the day, because they were mad chill, and the dog would like I'd just take him for a short walk because he doesn't like being outside, and I'd just
Oh
be
dang! Sorry.
playing guitar and chilling. It'd be nice.
They threw some warheads. Shout out to Perfect Circuit. They did not sponsor this video, but we're open to sponsorships.
Yes, we are.
Perfect Circuit, they're the ones I got this equipment off of, and shipment was like super fast. I think they're located in California on the West Coast. So, shout out to those guys. They got me both of these units here. And in the package, there's actually, they threw in, I'll show you guys, they threw in some warheads.
Yeah,
Got some warheads that they threw in there.
that's dope.
So there's I don't know if you guys like the extreme sour warheads, but they're some of my favorites. I love the warheads. I'm gonna I'm gonna put one in my mouth and hopefully I don't choke on it on the stream.
That's the high value content that we're bringing to you here at GMI. Speaking of GMI, it's 8:10 in the Eastern Standard Time Zone that I'm in at this point. In 50 minutes, we're gonna have Zombie Time Music Hour. In an hour and 15 minutes, we're gonna have the GMI Syncopator call, and it's gonna be groovy. I don't know what we plan on talking about tonight. I saw that you guys had some Infinity Keys stuff happen, and it's funny because like Orium has talked to Infinity Keys before. We want them to make some quest systems. And then we got really busy with the release. So I had to tell Chair, like, hey, I need a little bit. And then, like, I used Infinity Keys as an example in my meeting today of like active and correct ways of building community. And I was like, we need to talk to them. And we, like, Chair is such a dedicated guy. Like, I messaged him and he immediately threw something on the Calendly for a meeting. So it's like, hell yeah. And it's like just good
Oh
to
yeah.
see. And I saw that you guys were doing something with Infinity Keys. So do you want to talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah, for sure. So we did and this wasn't specifically us. This was actually sponsored by the DAO and we helped promote it because it's still going on right now. They're actually doing Gotchi themed Infinity Keys puzzle packs that you guys should check out. I think you should go to infinitykeys.io and get started there. But they have Gotchi themed puzzle packs where you can actually unlock special Gotchi themed Infinity Keys that'll probably allude to some greater prizes there. I'm sure there's some alpha that'll get dropped. So,
Uh,
um, yeah.
do you know how long is this promotion going on?
I don't know exactly how long I would imagine it's limited. I think it's maybe well, it is going on right now. That's all I know. I actually don't know how long it's going on for, but it is currently live. You can go to infinitykeys.io and get started there with you might have to do a novice puzzle pack first to get started. And then you can also, of course, reach out to us on the GMI Discord or in the Infinity Keys Discord if you have questions, because that's actually probably the best place to start is the Infinity Keys Discord. But from there, you get the Gotchi puzzle packs. There's, I believe, 3 different puzzles, so you get 3 different keys there. And yeah, it was a good time. The specific event you're referring to was a drop party that they did. So super chat, they dropped a bunch of Alchemica. We hopped around to some parcels. We had to unlock some quests to get around to the different parcels. It was cool how they arranged it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more events. Like let us know when Orium's doing theirs, because I'd love to like be a part of that and get our Gotchi gang, get a whole crew show up, get involved.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do some quests. I'm going to probably soon be launching more social media stuff, like definitely in some Discord spaces, and then probably some game nights.
Oh, sick. Yeah,
Yeah, just
perfect.
gotta talk, just details as usual.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm looking forward to it, man. So you're in New York, and Orium's going to be doing an event in NYC, right?
Probably not. Nope.
Oh, not.
Yeah, we're pulling back. We talked to some partners. They didn't really get back to us in time, so instead of rushing it and doing it incorrectly, we're just not going to do it.
I think sometimes that's the better decision, man.
Yeah,
Honestly.
with less than 2 weeks, I can fake it and I can try, but I like it's weird, it's lessons learned, and until the process is down, it doesn't make sense to waste money on an event that's not going to be what we want it to be, or for the reason we want it to have it. So it's gonna. I think we'll probably still meet up or do something. I don't know. I gotta talk to Hernani.
There's some weird lunar energy or something going around right now, man. Everything in my life in the last week got reversed. Proposals got reversed. Trip to Miami got reversed. Like literally everything in my life took a week worth of step back. And now this week's actually been great overall. Like a lot of good things happened this week. Uh but like overall, I think I've heard it not from you're not the first person to say things like this to me this week. So I'm just starting to feel like there's something greater. I gotta go talk to Marin about this or something and get some sort of a horoscope outlook or something to
Yeah,
figure this out.
it is weird. Yeah, because I have a ticket now to NFT NYC, so I'll be attending and like kind of hanging with Hernani and networking and doing stuff like that. But there's gonna be, like there's I have nothing else to do between now and then. And I extended my trip by 5 days, so it's like just dead time. Like I got to figure out what the hell to do. Uh, so I'm probably gonna put out some tweets eventually to friends I have in the NFT community, being like, "Yo, if you need media stuff while I'm here, hit me up," because I
Yeah.
have my equipment, just not. I have enough equipment to do things, but not to do a full event. Like I didn't bring that much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, so you're just gonna, go around, do your networking. You're just gonna it's gonna be a little bit more chill now, from what it sounds like, than compared to what it was gonna be initially.
Yeah, there'll still be work, but I guess it'll be
Yeah,
more conferencey work. But even that's not really like there's not a lot, not a ton of
yeah.
stuff to do. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I would have loved to see Avagachi presence. There might still be something, but there's no. I haven't heard anything definitive, so I'm not planning for it.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much Avagachi presence. NFT Miami presence will be minimal. Consensus might still, like, what are we thinking about consensus? Do we think that's still going to be up for?
Absolutely not. They haven't. The Dallas showed no interest,
Yeah, yeah,
and I respect that. That's why we have to approach this differently. But the Dallas showed no interest, so it doesn't really make sense to like focus on that.
I got to provide my input into your. I forget what the acronym was. The live events task force proposal, because I think you're onto something there, and I think that could be the approach here for these sorts of events.
Oh my God, Coder Dan, I think, has put out the April Fool's Day post.
Oh,
It's called the Gotchi Crown. Shift into high focus with the Gotchi Crown. It's a roam the Gotchiverse and see through the eyes of your Avagachi. Pre-order now. I think this is an April Fool's joke.
okay.
Yeah.
The Gotchi crown.
You know what I was gonna do, and I'll tell you this since I guess it is April's Fool's Day in Asia. I asked my girlfriend, I was like, "This is probably not a good idea, but it's for April Fools. You have to make it kind of believable, and for it to actually be a April Fool's kind of thing." So what I was thinking of doing was writing a long ass letter, like basically indicating that I was quitting as a Dow director, but make it very serious and like basically at the very end of the letter when you read the whole thing thinking I've quit, I'll admit like, oh, this is just a joke. Happy April. But I was like, people will be pissed if I did that. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like I would have to really like do it perfectly to not get in trouble, I think. And I was like, it's probably not a good idea if I have to put that much effort into thinking about whether I should do
it. Yeah, it kind of depends, right? So
Yeah.
You gotta front run the reaction sometimes and know what you're getting into.
Yeah, because if the joke isn't received, then it's just gonna look bad.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
maybe
got
that's April Fools.
I got this unboxed here. This came in the box. I think these are stickers. These are stickers I can put on. The packaging is kind of nice.
So I want to see this. This is what the sampler first, right?
This is the FM drum machine.
Ah.
So I'm opening it up right now. It's quite compact, actually. It's like hefty but compact.
Yeah, it looks great.
What's the FM drum machine?
Do you know how to use these?
Yeah, I know how to use this. I mean, I'm not adept, but I know exactly kind of how the channels work. These things down here, they're almost like piano keys. And then you got like your shaping knobs and stuff. But I've been watching tutorials on this for a long time, so I feel like I'm in a good place to start messing around with this for sure.
Yeah, see, I've used a lot of digital ones where I'm playing around. Like, I don't know what the hell the synthesizer does, but I'm just like fucking with the knobs and seeing what I can get out of it. And then eventually I land on something I like and I'm like, all right, I'll use this.
I think you're describing a good process. Like that's the process I approach it with. I have an idea of what the knobs do per se, like how they affect the sound, but I don't know. Like I'm not a sound engineer that knows exactly what all the knobs do exactly. I just know how they affect the sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll be able to describe it to a layman, but not with the technical terms. Like, yeah, when you hit that button, it goes. Like, that's
yeah, exactly.
9 out of 10 people, that's enough for. Only,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know how to fly the plane. I don't know how the plane works, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
okay, here we go.
That's fair. All right, let's see.
There's the circuit rhythm, the performance sampler.
Oh, that one has lights.
Yeah, this one has lights on it. This one lights up. Okay, it's a lot of packaging. Okay. This is it right here.
Yeah, that's sexy.
So this has beat pads on it. Matt, it's crazy how small they make this equipment now, because if you look at the was it MC404 or 808 or like any of the older Panasonic stuff, they were huge, like huge instruments, you know, that had all these pads and everything. And look, this thing can do pretty much everything that those can do, and it's tiny, like it's small. I can fit this in a backpack.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, that's similar to my little ATEM streamer. It's like this little box can do what like thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment used to do or can do. It's amazing how quickly technology. I've been watching this weird show on Hulu. It's like about, alien encounters with it seems like a documentary almost, like kind of like the History Channel, similar to that.
Yeah.
But talking about high level shit, like like astronauts saying, encountering UFOs and stuff like that. And they were basically saying that all great jumps in technology that we've seen in the recent history have been the results of like militaries finding like, downed UFOs, like the transistor.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, like going from like circuit tubes so that you have to have a freaking supercomputer that's the size of a room versus your phone having like millions of transistors in it. And it's like more powerful than the most powerful supercomputer. Like, that's kind of crazy.
It
so quickly
scales
too.
exponentially. Like with AI, things are going to scale exponentially, and then again with quantum computing again. So it's almost going to be it's going to be like, 10 years ago, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we're going to be looking at times like this, in the early days of the iPhone, and we're going to be looking at those things like they're almost like old tablets. They're going to be like very historic pieces, because I think technology is moving that much faster now. Like they're saying with AI, that Moore's law is actually broken because of AI now. That things aren't going to scale exponentially the way that they did with Moore's law, with diminishing returns. As things scaled, it's going to just scale exponentially, infinitely, which is crazy to think if that's the case.
Yeah, that's intense. Have
But look
you
at
heard
this.
of? Yep.
This is going to be the setup right now. Next Friday, I'll be ready. I'm going to talk to Zombie Shepherd.
Hell yeah. Are you gonna play live, or are you gonna have stuff pre-programmed and triggered?
I'm gonna play live, man. I'm gonna play live. I'm gonna be messing around live. I think that's the best way to learn and watch people. Watch people watch you learn. So I think that'll be the way to do it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be good. Do you see a fake Gotchi in your near future musical? Because
Oh
we've
yeah.
had a few musical fake Gotchis with lyrics come out recently.
Oh yeah. There'll definitely be music. I want to start making fake gotchi music. I'm more interested. I'll tell you why I want to do this. I'm more interested in making like music for games, like gaming music,
Mm,
things you want to listen to while you're gaming. That's what I want to try, and I want to try and find environments and things that we're doing in the Gotchi verse and make the music to shape that experience.
mm.
So that's what I want to do, and I want to, not only just me, I want to invite other people that want to do that with me. We could do it together, and let's find experiences in the Gotchi verse, and then let's collaborate together as musicians and make music, shape it around those experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I would say this what you're planning would work perfectly with the Gotchi crown, out available now on app.avagachi.com. Here,
Yeah.
Hefe synth tunes, synth relaxation tunes, so the Gotchi verse.
Yeah, you could have lo-fi tunes playing through the crown.
Yeah. Would you ever get a product if that was a real product? Would you get that the Gotchi crown?
I don't know, man. Let's see what it looks like. There's a blog post on it, so
I can't say I would do it. I would never trust the ability that like my brain isn't getting fried by wearing like a hat full of like electromagnetic radiation.
yeah, totally.
We're too early
This.
on. Too early on.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, make that big. Make that big. The no, I mean go in the picture in picture.
Oh,
There we go. Yeah.
right. The Gotchi crown in news. I wish they had like a full-on picture of the Gotchi crown. Need to see what it was, but
Well, they do in the announcements if you go to Discord.
oh, okay.
Oh man, my laptop is handling Grimm's parcels. I just channeled every one of his parcels and it didn't stall at all.
Oh, that's always nice.
Yeah, I mean, no, my computer was locking up and restarting last week. I mean, it did it twice, and then the last few days it's been working perfectly fine. So it's like I'm just surprised because even my big computer kind of stalls when I go to Grimm's parcels, but it's not even it's handling it very well.
Yeah, mine goes into high gear when I'm around his parcel. Even if I'm around his parcel, it like starts booting up.
Yeah, I now have two Orium scholarships with two level nines in them. So I'm kind of they have different terms for the different scholars. So I have to like channel with different lists. It's just kind of a I'm gaining all this like data, at least anecdotally as a scholarship uh, manager, to go back and improve the UI of the site. Like I gave him some tips today, and he was like, "Oh, that would be so easy to implement." It's like, yeah, we need to I want to make this look great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, curator section. Curators. We need to talk to Soju. I know he's been busy lately. We'll see if we can get some cool panels and stuff so we can tell people when the curators are going live. But here we are. Oh, I see Soju in the crowd. Shout out to Soju, creative director of Block Party and Gotchi artist, well-renowned Gotchi artist. Moore's Law, that's right. That's what you were saying earlier.
But it's spelled Moar, Moors.
Is it?
No, it's a joke. It's the Crypto Degens version of Moore.
Sunsetting Friends by Billy Bishop. Let's see what this is. I feel like this is a video. It is a video. Okay.
Wait a minute. That's a famous song. I hope he didn't just take the lyrics off of the lyrics of a famous song.
Oh man, I'm gonna play it right now. Let's listen to it.
That's Boys to Men.
Oh man, is that a real? Is this gonna be a copyright issue?
Well, play it, but I guarantee you our YouTube will get pulled down for playing that. But play it. Trust me. You're on Twitch, so it shouldn't be an issue, and on Twitter. But if this, it sounds like the exact recording of Boys to Men. I know he uses a lot of samples, but I don't think you could do that.
Let me just skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, that's 100% the original recording. Go further in. It probably turns into something cool, but if that's the whole thing.
No, I think it's definitely the thing whole way through.
Go like half a minute in, or more than halfway in. That's literally the song, but to a Gotchi video. We would get sued so quickly it's not even funny.
You gotta downvote this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one I'm surprised is if that got through, that'd be a problem.
So make it original. It would fail that rule, the make it original rule, because it's not an original track.
Can we go back and there's a song that was hinted at. I don't think it's dropped. No, it hasn't dropped. The one that Ben Lagan or no FaZe and somebody else released.
FaZe and Thrax.
Yeah. That one is it's original because it's gotchified, but it's basically a song that already exists, but they re-recorded it and changed the lyrics to make it gotchi. Is that considered low effort?
No. I think as long as the lyrics make sense.
Yeah, I think it's on the same level of making a gotchi Mona Lisa.
Gotchi Lisa.
Yeah, if you do with this song, if he had sung it himself, then I think I'd be okay with that. But I think there's still part of me that's that's low effort. It is Boys to Men.
Yeah, no, that was just a track slapped on there for sure. Yeah, we got to keep those standards high and try and not get sued over here. So, yeah, it's like meme art. Soju has a good point. It's like meme art. It's funny. It's memey. But we definitely don't want to get sued over this, so might have to revise it or resubmit it.
Yeah, back to the drawing board, but still good try.
Oh, we got another one up by Stellar Hobbs here. Empyrean Cactus. It's a 1 of 1.
Huh.
It's a 1 of 1.
Okay, I like it. My only issue with it is, are those really gotchis or are those ghosts? We've heard the criticism before that something, for it to be a gotchi, it has to meet certain minimums, right? I don't think any of those gotchis have a lemniscate. I can't see because it's so small, but.
Oh, let me see here. Let me see if I can go.
Are those gotchis or could those be mistaken for ghosts?
Those have the lemniscates on the front, on the top there. They could be made a
Okay.
little bit darker, but you can see them there. Yeah,
Okay, because if they're visible, then I have no problem. But if they weren't, then it's like, because I'm looking at this on a very small screen.
yeah,
I don't know if that makes it.
it's close. But it's also a one of one, so it's not going to be very like present in the Gotchiverse, you know.
Yeah, it'll be on Grimm's parcel, overwhelming everyone's computer.
The Liquidator's Garden. This was also made by Stellar Hobbs. Liquidator's Garden.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
It's
I
going
think
for
it,
abstract. It's going for
yeah,
abstract. It's a different
and
style here.
it definitely meets that style. I do like the curves in it. There's like a level of symmetry. It's not chaos. Um, there's some smiles. It is very abstract. The color scheme doesn't work for me. If it was like more contrasty, like
Yeah.
I'm not saying this as I like the piece. I just like if I was buying it, this wouldn't probably make the cut for me.
If I had an office in the Gotchiverse, I'd probably put this up. Like this is like very much like a Gotchi office kind of piece. Like I'd put that up in my office somewhere, just in the back. Not my actual IRL office, but like a metaverse office.
Okay. The Gotchi office.
Yeah, man. One
That's what
of
my
one.
studio is,
Again.
essentially. It's a Gotchi office.
One of one. All right. Spark of Hope. This passed the queue. This was from last week. Ancient hero of the Citadel soaring through the dark skies to bring back sparks of hope.
That liquidator, those liquidators look like the one we saw on social media this week. We were saying like the four-legged liquidators.
Oh, the big dudes.
Yeah. Potential hint at what's happening tomorrow.
I feel like those guys are showing up in the verse tomorrow, but that's just me.
Yeah, I did bring I have a controller with me somewhere because in the verse I can attack. I just don't know where the controller is. I'm going to have to pair it with this computer at some point. Yeah, I'm sure they have something else.
Well, the last time they said they had something big and they announced it this way, they presented the 2023 roadmap. So I wonder if this is going to be like equal in size to that kind of an announcement.
Well, do we think, that Raffle on the log did give some kind of warning, right? And it seems like
Liquidators.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it could be something in that, but is it the start of the great battle? If it was, we're getting wrecked. Nobody's ready. Like I don't think we would see that free to play option either. People would freak the hell out.
Yeah, but remember the key the clue from last week alluded to that. It kind of did allude to a bunch of people getting wrecked, so I wonder what that means.
Yeah, this is true. I guess we're gonna have to tune in to find out tomorrow.
Yeah. 2 p.m. UTC, friends, in the Avagachi Discord.
Are you getting wrecked?
Are you getting wrecked? Tune in to find out. Yeah, we've just been getting set up for weeks now.
Well, I'd be interested to see what it is. I think I don't know. I could see it being a big announcement about Gotchi Guardians because I feel like I don't know this well enough to say this, so I'm making a very ignorant statement and I'm acknowledging this. But I feel like building a Unity-based game probably isn't as hard as building a metaverse, with a completely, like its own unique backend. I don't think building a Unity game should be as difficult as that. So maybe it's something to do with Gotchi Guardians.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean, I hope that they're using some of these crazy AI tools out there, because if they are using AI in conjunction with like Unity or Blender, I could see them making these models very fast, compared to the longer process that it probably used to take them. So maybe the development time has also come down significantly because of AI.
Yep, our overlord taking over everything.
I mean, I think it helps a lot in the GameFi space and the DAO space. We're really going to see that AI and autonomous become more apparent in this next year, I think.
I could see that too. It's did you see that letter that was like put out by all the like bigwigs? And they're like, we need to stop development of AI or slow it down.
Who was this?
I think Elon Musk was came along and signed this like petition or whatever.
Oh, it's like a declaration. I remember that.
Yeah,
But I think the genie's at the bottle, man. People have been like, they've been forking their own GPT AIs now for a couple weeks, and just you could put something like that together for less than a couple $100. Like, have your own
damn.
Chat GPT bot running on its own independent machine if it wants to.
Yeah, damn. We'll see what the implications of this stuff is. Still
Well,
pretty early.
I mean, we see Thrax in the chat, and I think he dropped some alpha this morning because he put together a Thrax bot. And right now, I'm working on a tutorial right now, but I'm trying to build GMI bot. So I want a GPT powered chat bot living in the GMI server. That'll just be a sentient bot that we can talk to in GMI.
So it's like the good vibes bot almost, but with something other than music.
Yeah, I can do more. Like you'll be able to ask it things, and it'll actually, you can have a conversation with it. It'll actually be able to talk to you and do stuff.
Damn.
We're not going to give it any server permissions in case it goes rogue and just locks us all out. But
Yeah.
it'll
It's
be
just
allowed to
talk.
live. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. How long will that take to implement?
I don't think it's going to take that long at all, dude. Because like this guy has a whole tutorial. He just gives you all the code and everything. So maybe like it's a 1 day kind of project for me, probably, to figure that out.
Nice.
I was just
Yeah.
looking at his tutorial today and looking at his GitHub document and watching his YouTube tutorial. So it doesn't look that hard. I think anybody with basic coding knowledge could do something like that. 100%.
What other use cases can you see for it?
It's all Python based too. I
Ah,
think as a chatbot, well, I mean, for example, the Thrax bot that Thrax created, you can ask it like any Gotchi based question and it'll know the answer. Like you can ask it like, "What's a rarity farming event?" and it'll tell you like what rarity farming is. Like things like that, essentially.
I'm surprised they haven't deployed stuff like that for keywords in the Discord.
I feel like, I feel like we need a Discord bot. That's what the Robin AI bot is that I want to talk to the DAO about on Sunday. And I haven't shown this to you yet, actually, so I might as well show you this. Get all the alpha. I've been actually talking to the founders. We met these guys. This is DAO Lens. If you remember, we did that panel, and DAO Lens was there. They interviewed some of us, and they were just kind of hanging out there. So they created this Robin AI assistant, and it's for DAOs. This is a tool for DAOs. It's a DAO co-pilot, essentially. And so what it does is, it'll basically take information from past and present forum discussions, and it'll aggregate all that information. It'll learn from that information. It'll learn how your DAO communicates, and then it'll basically be able to help you or help your DAO with some of the governance of it. And it can provide you with feedback, for example. And so there's some use cases here that I think could be really interesting for a DAO. For example, this one here, it could basically watch all the Gnosis treasury transactions, and every week it would automatically generate an exposure, a risk exposure report with like just a treasury health summary, and that's something we could use at the DAO meeting. It'd be automatically generated. We wouldn't have to do anything. Another one is like the discussion forums. So like helping people catch up on discussions that have been happening throughout the week. We talk about that a lot. You could just have this Robin AI bot basically create a summary of all the recent forum posts that have gone up in that week. And then we would be able to actually take that summary and take that to the DAO meeting and then discuss those topics. And then lastly, this one is also interesting, is when we're trying to compare two strategies in the DAO to deploy one versus another, and we're trying to discuss it actively, instead of just using emojis, we could ask this Robin bot to actually compare the strategies in real time and give us its analysis and provide us its input with a crisp comparison. So these are just some of the things that this thing can do, and basically integrates into everything. And so I'm kind of interested to see how this could work on a small scale, but also how it could work for something like Gotchi DAO.
How much does it cost to use?
Right now, it's free. It doesn't cost anything right now.
How much will it cost eventually?
I don't know. That's something we have to probably ask them, because I think it's very like a case by case thing right now. You gotta email them, you gotta join a wait list, and then they get a code back to you. So I'm still waiting for the code so we can try it out. But I'm looking forward to trying this out and seeing how useful this is, because I think this might be what we need to help kind of just keep things moving forward in our DAO, regardless of regardless of anything else that's going on in the DAO politically. This Robin AI bot will always be there to kind of help facilitate like DAO activity.
Yeah, that's good. If anything to bypass the political process is probably helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So just looking at tools like this, things we can implement in the DAO to kind of make things a little bit easier and smoother, So AI is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, it's got to get ready to bow down to our tech overlords.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. It's gonna. I mean, we're amazed, right? This is the early phase of AI where we're amazed. How are we gonna feel like when this thing is really training us? Like, we've been training it for a few decades now, and now we've come to a point where it's actually starting to think on its own, and it's starting to train us. Like, there are dApps out there right now that watch everything you do, AI governed dApps, that tell you the best ways to run your life. Essentially, do an analysis of the efficiency of your life and be like, you could do this better. You can move your meeting here, and start kind of micromanaging your life a little bit. So it's almost like the AI have now turned and are training us to hopefully be better versions of ourselves. But I don't know how everyone feels about that.
That sounds like a digital mother. Like you have a nanny walking around like,
yes,
you didn't brush your teeth on time.
Yeah.
Fatty, you just took in one too many calories. Like, it sounds like a shitty parent.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even more invasive and annoying than that. It'll be like, your risk of suicide just jumped from 5.6 to 5.8%. It'll be like, oh, geez, here we go.
Yeah, I can. Oh, man. There's a lot of positives, though. It just has to be harnessed the correct way. Yeah. And there are a lot of people working towards that. So we'll definitely see what happens.
I think AI right now at this stage is holding up a mirror to humanity. It's like kind of like we're holding up a mirror to ourselves, because it really doesn't know any better at this point. It's still very much in the early learning phase. But once it starts to really think on its own and transcends beyond like the way humans think, I think that's where we're going to see like how virtuous AI can be, or if it's really something that we're just doomed. But we're actually like we've already succumbed to it in a way, because we don't have a choice on what the outcome is. We're just hoping that the outcome is positive, I think.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
We're hoping it doesn't kill us, but we're just going to keep making it better all the time, I guess.
Yeah, we're optimistic. We think it's going to work out. It hasn't worked out against us yet, right? Why not?
Let's just keep making it smarter. It's all good.
Yeah. That's great. Oh, man. So we got 14 minutes left. Are there any other new pieces for curation, or were those all the new ones?
No, we ripped through them. We ripped through them pretty quick. We got Thrax's piece here, Titan of Regaloth. There's 11 of them. Those have passed the queue, so I imagine those will probably get minted pretty soon.
I will say, I feel like the artists of the Gotchiverse kind of blew their load pretty quick. everybody jumped in. Like fake gotchis to slow down pretty considerably. And I wonder if it's just like people are tired. Like you've so much output in such a short amount of time creatively, probably wore some people out. You know.
Yeah, what I saw is a lot of enthusiasm at the start, and I'm seeing some more creative exhaustion. So it's going to take some time for people to recharge. But I also think it's a really good time to publish a fake gotchi if you're not a really well-known artist. Like for myself, I'm actually planning on publishing a fake gotchi either this week or next week. So I'm hoping to get a fake gotchi out there that I've been wanting to publish it for a while, but finally kind of just getting to complete it now. So I see Soji also saying Raffle Posters is going to be posted tonight, and that's his new Fikachi as well.
Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, the big artists keep dropping stuff. I haven't seen anything dropped by Nadeal in a little while. He's also the top, I think, collector. So he's multitasking over here.
Oh yeah, and Nadeal dropped a whole bunch of one-on-ones a while ago, so I think he has some really exclusive pieces he's just hanging on to now at this point.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, I think it's good to produce art. I was reading Leonardo da Vinci. Was it da Vinci or was it Picasso? One of the two guys, famous artists, had done over 40,000 works of art in their lifetime over their career in art. And some of these works of art were like little sketches on a napkin or something that was drawn on the street real quick, in the early days. A lot of these pieces of art were actually never recognizable as the original artists because these artists moved through so many iconic styles before really coming to their own well-known style. So yeah, it's interesting to see how many different works of art were created by some of these like more well-known artists. It wasn't like they made it overnight, they were making like thousands of works of art before people started to notice their work. So it's just really just quantity. Just
It truly is. Like people used to point out like Mozart having like sonnets at like the age of 5, but he started as like an infant. He put in a lot of time and produced a lot of art before he even got to that point, which people were like, "Oh shit, this is a prodigy." So it's one of the 48 laws of power. Actually, they talk about the idea of make what you do seem effortless. Like the idea that
yeah.
don't ever show people the thousands of hours that you put in behind the scenes to make the work effortless. Make it seem like you're a god, like you've ascended and your skill is that awe inspiring. Not that any old body can do the same thing if they work hard enough, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, and there's that saying too that kind of is in line with that. It's like it took that guy 10 years to become overnight success. It's like he was working when, you guys perceived that guy to be an overnight success, but in reality, he's been working up like 10 years up until that moment or 20 years up until that moment. And nobody really ever saw that. They saw that overnight success moment. They saw the rise to fame, the rise to power. It's really incredible actually.
Yeah, it's a very interesting proposition also because a lot of artists like that make it say like in music and stuff, right? They put out that first piece that actually gets commercial success, and then a lot of times you see a sophomore album slump. But it's like you neglect that they've been working on this style for a decade longer, you know. So to just kind of like make something brand new is going to be very hard because they've just spent like all of that time creating before the hit is just practice for that hit, I think. So
Yeah.
being in that position, like, it's hard to follow up overnight success because it's not truly overnight. It really took a long time to get there.
I do think, folding in back into our AI conversation, I do think that time that it takes to become adept or to become skilled at something now has totally gone, like it's been fractionalized down to like 1/10. Because I do think somebody, like you say, making things look effortless. I do think these generalists where people, a lot of the people in this space actually are generalists where you can actually learn a task well enough to just do it, but not be a specialist specifically in that task and move on and learn something else later. I think those people are definitely going to excel with this new AI movement because you'll need to know things just well enough to describe the thing that you want the AI to do. You won't actually have to learn the skill that you need to do what you want to do. And just that right there is going to really not only level the playing field, but also create this like crazy power opportunity for people who were already historically underdogs and just knew enough about things, but not enough to really be truly masters at it, and really become masters at it just because they know so many different things just well enough, you know. But that's just that's my theory anyway. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but it just seems like people who are generalists in this day and age are going to do well off because of AI as this tool that they can use.
Well, I agree, but I also a little disagree. Like when the calculator became a thing, it's a general mathematicians didn't all of a sudden take over, right? Like you still need to be like it's just a tool. You have to know how to use it, and
Mhm.
being a generalist,
Yeah,
like a jack of all trades in a sense. It does work, but those people who really like go after like getting, and a generalist could do this because they're gaining expertise in AI. So although they might do a whole bunch of different
true.
stuff, they'll be experts at AI. People who become experts at AI, they're going to do really well.
It's like the AI is almost a sword that's been given to humanity, and it's like you learn how to use the sword well, you can do a lot of different things with the sword.
Yeah, it
Uh,
makes me think of like any situation, movie, television show, anything where you give somebody a godlike, inexperienced person a godlike weapon, and they don't know how to yield it. Like
yeah,
it they're gonna have to learn how to wield it, and that's gonna, it takes someone who's experienced.
totally.
But
No, well said.
yeah, I just happen to think. I think I agree with your point though that generalists will be the ones because they tend to be the ones when you get blinders on and you're super focused on one thing, you might not see the other things happening around you. Where a generalist, I think, tends to be more open to other things. So if they notice a trend, it's a lot easier for them to be like, hey, let me start learning this, versus the person who's rigid and super focused on one thing.
Yeah, totally. And I think a lot of us in this space are generalists. What I see, within GMI, what I see in the DAO, a lot of us in here, I see people that have talents doing many different things, and not all those things are related. But just having multiple talents in this room, it's incredible.
It does help. By the way, you see this shirt?
Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
This is the shirt. Remember, we were in Eve Denver, and you said you picked up a shirt and stuffed it in my bag, right?
Yeah. Okay.
This is the shirt. You stuck this shirt into my laptop pocket. So I looked all over the book bag trying to see if you put it in the
Oh,
big pocket. And like when I got home, because my laptop wasn't going all the way down, I was like, "What the hell?" When I got home, I pulled out the laptop and noticed there was something down there. I pulled it out, and it was that shirt you stuffed into my bag.
dang. Well,
It
welcome,
fits
bro.
well.
You're I'll consider it a trade for the hat that you got me. So it's all that's the Arweave shirt. That's the Arweave shirt, I
Oh,
believe,
is
that we
it?
got.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sad story, man. I lost a hat. I'm down to two Gotchi hats now,
Oh shit, dude.
plus whatever's in that box in my sister's house somewhere in the Bronx. I could probably go pick that up now that I'm here, but
Well, there you go. Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
just avoid
quest.
them. Yeah, but I lost a hat. I clipped it to the back of my book bag on a hot day because I don't want to get a weird tan line,
Yeah.
and it just fell off at some point. I don't know when, but it's
Dang,
gone.
dude.
Yeah, so it's my backup hat, and then I have a backup hat that is hanging on the guitar in my studio. So it's the last resort if I lose this one, which I'm trying not to.
Yeah, no, that's a museum piece. You gotta leave that on the guitar.
Yeah, that one has to stay on the guitar.
All right, well, we got it's 5:55 here in the studio. We got Zombie Shepherd coming on live here pretty soon for Zombie Time Music Hour. Is Zombie Shepherd in the house here with us? I don't see him here. But friends, thank you for joining us here on District 4. Well, not District 420. That'll be in a couple weeks. We'll be coming back with that. But Block Party here, no futuristic in New York. Me here at home, just chilling in the studio. And thank you for joining us on Block Party.
Take it easy, friends.
Peace.